Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that we're going to walk through today is a special report, exquisite reporting from CBS News, the mainstream media, around is the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act effective? This is going to be one you want to see, and tell me if you can pick up the underlying themes on this report down in the comments field, and I cannot wait to hear what you guys think. Now make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn that notification bell on. We are distributing freedom twice daily on this channel, and we would love to have your magnification of this message, and thank you so much for your consideration. But my brothers and sisters, we have got to get to, like I said, down to earth, get to the root of the problem reporting from CBS News, not mainstream media gun control talking points at all. Yeah, but there's something underlying here that I want to show you, because listen to the angle. I've got 4 clips. We're going to walk through this and analyze it. You guys tell me if you're picking up what I'm putting down.
Tomorrow marks 1 year since Congress passed the most sweeping gun safety legislation in nearly 30 years. But even as it's being implemented, mass shootings continue, with more than 300 incidents on just the 175th day of 2023. Congressional correspondent Nicole Killian takes a closer look at whether the law has been effective.
Whether the law has been effective, and what prompted that statement? We're only in the 175th day of the year. How could we have 320 mass shootings? So I ask you the exact same question. Do you remember 320 mass shootings, or are the numbers that they're using to manipulate the entire population around the problem of gun violence backfiring on the Democrats? Because Democrats said the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act would solve all the problems. But when you still use manipulated data like the gun violence archive, like they're using here, 320 mass shootings kind of starts to backfire. But that's just the first one. Of course, notice the very favorable language, very flowery, beautiful, the most sweeping gun legislation, gun control talking point. Listen to the words they use, and they will always tell you where they're going. But now we got to hear from the second part here, and fair warning, Biden's in this one, so get ready.
1 year after signing the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act,
this is a monumental day.
President Biden commemorated the landmark law at a gun safety summit this month.
It's an important first step. I know it feels like it isn't enough when you turn on the news and see another tragedy in a school, a grocery store, a parade, or a place in America. The facts give us reason to hope, though.
The $15 billion legislation includes funding for mental health, school safety, and anti-gun violence programs, incentivizes states to implement red flag laws, and requires enhanced background checks for gun buyers under 21.
Oh, where to start on that one. By the way, wasn't it nice for the CBS, completely objective reporting, to put ratcheting slideshow images right when Biden was saying something, almost like it was a pre-produced production? Just saying. Anyway, but now let's get to the things, the crux of the problem, because Biden did say, after all, it was the first step. Great job, John Cornyn and Lindsey Graham. Great job, all the rhinos. But let's hit this right here. Of course, you've got funding for all of these things. Red flag law incentives, which, by the way, is a funny way of saying no red flag laws actually came from this Bipartisan Safer Communities Act. It was just a slush fund for money to go anywhere they wanted to, because you have to have due process in here. It's in that law, but they didn't tell you that. The other thing here, background checks for buyers under 21. Slow your roll, fact check a little bit on this one. There's not enhanced background checks for those under 21. They flat out put a 10-day stay on any American citizen who's under the age of 21 before you can buy a gun. An entire class, an age of people. That sounds kind of like discrimination to me, doesn't it? Based off of age, an immutable characteristic. That's why this thing's going to be in trouble in time. But anyway, let's continue, because the flowery BS continues at warp speed. I got 2 more. And first, before the second one, we got to get to John Cornyn, because as the architect of the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, BS, he's got to say his point. Check this out.
Feel the law has been effective as it was intended?
Well, the main goal of this is to save lives. And if you ask me, has this legislation saved lives, my answer is yes.
Texas Senator John Cornyn was one of the bill's Republican sponsors. Democrat Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut also worked on the legislation.
The scourge of gun violence is continuing. The Safer Communities Act is by no means the final answer here.
By no means the final answer here. Almost like They have a plan to keep on using it as a stepping stone. You put a frog in a pot of boiling water and you slowly turn the temperature up and they'll never know they're being boiled to death. This is a status quo of the left. This is not a new left tactic. They've been doing this in the progressive era of the United States for over 100 years. Anyway, let's continue and hit something else there. John Cornyn, the Republican who broke with his party and put together the Safer Communities Act. Has it worked? Well, I think it's saved lives. Can you prove that? Well, no, I can't prove that, but that's my proof it works. So completely non-provable point is your proof that it works on something that you infringed on the rights of an entire class of people and passed the most sweeping gun change in the United States in the last 30 years and gave Biden and the Democrats a win. Yeah, great job, Rhino. Great job. But now the last one, and this is the point where it kind of ties all together, because here's another Democrat, gun control in the House, Lucy McBath. This is from my prior place in Georgia before I moved to the free state of Florida. So this is what Lucy McBath has to say. Check this out.
I absolutely think the country's in a better place in terms of moving forward on gun safety policy.
Georgia Congresswoman Lucy McBath lost her son to gun violence. She's already working on next steps by trying to force a vote on an assault weapons ban in the Republican-controlled House.
Nothing is just symbolic. Everything that we do pushes us forward towards really making change in safer communities.
House Democrats are also trying to force a vote on expanded background checks, but they need at least 5 Republicans to support it. That seems unlikely, and some GOP lawmakers have indicated they think that the bipartisan Safer Communities Act is about as far as Congress can go.
So 1 year after the Safer Communities Act, you've got sitting senators saying, well, it's a good first step and we're going to move more room to go because of the scourge of gun violence. You've got a sitting president say it's a good first step. You have a member of Congress who's part of the gun violence push, as they call it, or the gun violence caucus, and complete gun controllers also saying the entire thing and pushing forward assault weapon bans and expanded background checks, all the things. If you ever believed at any point in time this was the final thing where we could move on to something else and they wouldn't continue to infringe upon the rights of Americans through their Second Amendment rights, I got a bridge to sell you, and it's probably somewhere where there's no water and no need for a bridge. Because these people are zealots. They will incrementally death of 1,000 cuts until they achieve their objective, and then they'll move on to the next one. Similar to Locust. Just saying. And that's what I've got for you guys. What do you think of this stellar reporting from CBS? Everything is linked in the description box below. I look forward to reading your comments, and I will see you on the next one. Braden, signing out.